You know that feeling when you at a party explaining what you do for a living and you watch the person in front of you lose interest with every sentence? You start by saying you work in tech, but you're also studying nutrition. And in your spare time you play drums. Oh. And you started a podcast about Stoic philosophy that you recorded 3 episodes of and stopped. The person smiles with that polite smile of someone thinking, this guy has no clue what he wants in life. I know you've been there. And I also know what happens after you leave that conversation. You keep replaying it, questioning yourself, comparing, because everyone around you seems to have found their thing. Your cousin who became a dentist and has talked about nothing but teeth for 10 years. Your college friend who went into marketing and is now a director. They have a 3-word answer when someone asks what they do. You need 3 paragraphs and you still feel like you didn't explain it right. The worst part isn't even other people's judgment. The worst part is the judgment you pass on yourself every time you open that folder on your computer called Projects. Inside there's everything. The outline for that app that was going to revolutionize how people organize tasks. The first 47 pages of the novel you started in 2019. 17 business ideas in different spreadsheets. Each file is a broken promise. Each folder is a graveyard of versions of yourself that never made it to the finish line. And there's that voice that always shows up at 3 in the morning when you can't sleep. It speaks quietly but with cruel certainty. You'll never be good at anything because you want to be good at everything. You're average at 20 things while other people are excellent at 1. You've been jumping from branch to branch your whole life. And now you on the same tree, just older, more tired, and with nothing concrete to show for it. Your parents don't help. Every family gathering turns into an interrogation disguised as concern. What about that programming course? Did you finish it? No, Mom. Now I'm studying digital marketing. Then she says, but honey, you need to focus on something, or you'll fall behind. And you know she says this because she loves you, because she wants to see you stable, secure, employable. But every time you hear it, something inside you dies a little. Because you've already tried to focus. God knows you've tried. You've done that experiment. You picked one thing, swore you'd ignore everything else, set up a study plan, woke up early, stayed up late, really committed. And it worked for 3 months, maybe 4. You even felt that excitement of making progress on something specific. But then came that deep boredom that isn't laziness, it's suffocation. Like your brain was screaming, this isn't enough. There's more out there, you're wasting time. The world taught you this is a character flaw. Lack of discipline, immaturity, professional Peter Pan syndrome. You're that person who never grows up, never chooses, never matures enough to do what needs to be done. And the most painful part is you kind of believe it. Because all the success stories you know are about people who picked one thing at 20 and stuck their head in it until they became the go-to person. But let me ask you a question nobody's ever asked you. What if everything they taught you about focus and specialization is a lie built for a world that doesn't exist anymore? What if your inability to stick to just one thing isn't a neurological defect, but an adaptation? What if, while you're sitting there feeling like a failure for having too many interests, you're actually building something most people will never have? Because there's something happening in your brain that's different. When you study music and then study programming, your brain isn't just storing information in separate drawers. It's making connections. It's recognizing patterns. It's understanding that rhythm in music is the same thing as rhythm in code. That visual composition in design follows the same principles as composition in writing. That strategy in chess is strategy in business is strategy in relationships. You're not being shallow. You're being broad. And there's a massive difference between those two things that nobody explained to you. The specialist digs a 300-foot hole in one spot. You dig 10 60-foot holes in strategic places. And when you need to build something, or you need to solve a complex problem, guess who has more material to work with? But I know this still sounds like loser's consolation. Like those self-help phrases that make you feel good for 5 minutes, and then reality comes back. Oh, how beautiful. I'm special in my own way. So what? How does that pay the bills? How does that make you wake up without that feeling of wasting your life? How does that turn you into someone people take seriously? That's exactly what I'm going to show you now. So please like the video and subscribe to the channel. If you don't like it by the end, just hit dislike, okay? So here we go. I'm not going to pat you on the back saying everything's fine. I'm going to give you a method. A way to look at all this chaos and transform it into real, measurable advantage that puts you ahead of people who spent their entire lives doing just one thing. Because the world changed, but nobody updated the rules of the game. And while everyone keeps playing by the old rules, you, without knowing it, were preparing for the new ones. Let me tell you something about specialization nobody taught you. Modern society sold you the idea that the world works like a game of golf. Clear rules, controlled environment, same swing working forever. You train one thing for 10,000 hours and become a master. But the real world isn't a golf course. The real world is a burning forest where the rules change at every corner. Think about the accountant who spent 20 years mastering tax law. He's brilliant at what he does, knows every detail. Then artificial intelligence arrived. In 6 months, software can do 80% of his work with 0 errors. He's panicking because the only thing he knows how to do is disappearing. He's an ultra-specialized tool for a world that doesn't exist anymore. Now think about you. You who study programming but also understand psychology. Who works with data but also gets communication. Who learned design but also knows business strategy. When the market shifts, when a profession disappears, when a technology becomes obsolete, you don't break. You adapt. Because you didn't put all your eggs in one basket. You built redundancy. There's a 17th century Japanese warrior named Miyamoto, Musashi, who said something that should be tattooed on your forehead. From one thing, no 10,000 things. Musashi wasn't just a swordsman. He painted, sculpted, wrote, philosophized, and he said that studying painting made him better with the sword. Because he understood rhythm, composition, timing in ways a pure swordsman never would. He had an arsenal. His opponent had one weapon. That's exactly what you're doing without realizing it. You're not failing to dig a deep hole. Every skill you learn is a new weapon. And the real power isn't in being great with one weapon. It's in knowing which weapon to use in which situation. It's in combining 2 weapons nobody thought to combine. That app project you abandoned, you didn't fail. You learned development, interface, user experience, and realized that wasn't the path. You extracted the intelligence and moved forward. That's not quitting, that's strategic efficiency. You redoing territorial reconnaissance while everyone thinks you should be building a house on the first plot of land you found. Leonardo da Vinci had dozens of unfinished projects. His workshop was chaos. Half-filled notebooks, inventions that never left the paper, studies that stayed as sketches. But it was exactly this chaotic process of studying anatomy, engineering, optics, mathematics, all at the same time, that allowed him to create the Mona Lisa and design war machines centuries ahead of his time. The unfinished projects weren't the trash. They were the university, and you know what's the cruelest part of this whole story? The world doesn't need more specialists. What's in absolute shortage are synthesizers. People who can take knowledge from Area A and Area B and create something that never existed at the intersection. The market pays way more for that than for someone who does one thing 10% better than everyone else. So what do you do now with all this information? How do you take this chaos and turn it into something that works in real life? First move. You need to stop trying to do everything at the same time. Life isn't a plate where you pile all the food together. Life has seasons. Except that right now it's photography season. Dive into it for 3, 4, 6 months. Extract everything you need to learn. And when you feel you've got the essentials, when the mental itch starts, don't fight it. Let that hibernate and move to the next season. This isn't a character flaw. It's serial mastery. You're building layers, and stacked layers become structure. Second move. Pick 2 of your interests that seem to have nothing to do with each other and force a collision. Take psychology and design. Take programming and nutrition. Take philosophy and marketing. Create something at that intersection, because that's where you eliminate 99% of the competition. Nobody else has exactly that combination of knowledge. You just became irreplaceable. Third move. Understand that you need a foundation pillar. A job that pays the bills, that doesn't drain your soul, that gives you stability. And then you use that pillar to fund your passion pillars. Don't make the mistake of killing your art by demanding it pays your rent in the first month. Let it grow protected until it's strong enough. You've spent your whole life apologizing for being complex. It's time to stop. Because while specialists are panicking watching their professions disappear, while the job market flips upside down every 6 months, you're already prepared. You built an arsenal. So next time someone asks what you do and you feel that urge to justify yourself, to apologize for not having a 3-word answer, remember this: you're not confused, you're complete. You're not lost, you're exploring. And explorers always look lost to people who never left their spot. Drop in the comments what you thought of this video. Your reflection helps other people. Go ahead, like the video and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.